Good evening and welcome to Parliamentary News with me, Abdullahi Aminu. We begin with the headlines. Leadership crisis rocks Nasarawa State House of Assembly. Residents set agenda for lawmakers as more states proclaim new assemblies.
So in terms of constituency responsibility, they must be alive to that responsibility.
In a final onslaught against sexual harassment, Senate passes bill.
The ayes have it. The report is adopted.
Now to the news in detail. Leadership tussle in the Nasarawa State House of Assembly has led to the emergence of two factions preceding the process of the inauguration of the 7th Assembly in the state. Isa Muhammad reports that the leadership factions were, however, inaugurated at separate locations in Lafia.
Trouble was said to have started when some members-elect were prevented from entering the assembly complex, citing security concerns. This subsequently saw one of the faction led by the incumbent speaker, Ibrahim Balarabe Abdullahi, being inaugurated at the Ministry for Local Government, while the other faction led by Daniel Ogazi was inaugurated at the State Assembly complex. During a courtesy visit on Governor Abdullahi Sule, the Ibrahim Balarabe Abdullahi faction said due process was followed, having been sworn in by the acting clerk, and pledged their support to the governor, while the Daniel Ogazi faction similarly laid claim to seat of the leadership, having been sworn in the assembly chambers with the mess, which is a symbol of authority.
By the special grace of God, through the mandate of my honorable colleagues, I've been elected again to pilot the affairs of the 7th Nasarawa State House of Assembly. My election came along with that of the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Jacob Kudu, as the Deputy Speaker of the 7th House of Assembly.
If there is any State Assembly Speaker, it is Honorable Daniel Ogazi. If there is any State Assembly Deputy Speaker, it is Honorable Mohamed Oyanji. And if there are any members of the Nasarawa State House of Assembly, these are the members behind me.
In the meantime, the two factions have proceeded on recess. In Lafia, I am Isa Muhammad, NTA News.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has reiterated commitment to work in synergy with the legislature towards ensuring the principle of separation of powers in the state. The governor stated this during the inauguration and proclamation of the 10th House of Assembly, where the incumbent speaker was re-elected for the third consecutive term in Lagos.
Having secured a second-term ticket to continue in office as the governor of Lagos State, it was time for Babajide Sanwo-Olu to proclaim the new Legislative Assembly and to witness the inauguration.
As we look forward to the future, let us remind ourselves of the importance of cooperation, dialogue, and mutual respect. The executive and the legislature are partners in this democratic journey. Our shared goal is to create a Lagos where everyone thrives, where opportunities are bound, and where our collective diversity in our people propels our unique future. It's therefore my honor and a rare privilege that I formally proclaim the 10th Assembly of the Lagos State House of Assembly.
Soon after the proclamation came the moment to elect principal officers of the Assembly. Nominations by some members of the Assembly was the way to go. Incumbent Speaker Mudashiru Obasa was returned for a consecutive third term. Deputy Speaker and new members-elect also took oath of office.
That I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, pledged to support efforts by the executive arm of government to actualize the Smart City initiative of the state.
I encourage all branches of government to work together in harmony to ensure that we do a Lagos that we can all be proud of. Together we have an opportunity to be a better Lagos.
The emergence of Speaker Obasa makes him the longest-serving state legislator in the country since joining the House of Assembly in 2003. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
The 7th Ekiti State House of Assembly has been inaugurated with the lawmaker representing Ikole Constituency 2, Adeoye Aribasoye, emerging the new speaker following the proclamation of the House by the State Governor Biodun Oyebanji. Members also elected a female legislator representing Ado Constituency 2, Bolaji Egbeyemi Olagbaju, as Deputy Speaker. Ayodeji Ogunshakin reports that 6 out of the 26 lawmakers are women.
Election into Ekiti State House of Assembly was conducted and winners emerged.
31, 32.
Certificates of returns were issued to them by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). Now is the inauguration of the members-elect in accordance with the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to perform their duties as lawmakers, as the State Governor Biodun Oyebanji proclaimed the 7th Ekiti Assembly.
Of all powers enabling me in that behalf, hereby issue this proclamation for the holding of the first session of the State House of Assembly.
Here comes the moment for the nomination for the position of the Speaker, as the member representing Irepodun Ifelodun Constituency 1, Femi Akindele, nominated Adeoye Aribasoye, a second-timer, and seconded by Lateef Akanle from Ekiti East Constituency 2, while Bolaji Olagbaju Egbeyemi, representing Ado Constituency 2, was nominated by Adetejo Okoyiga as Deputy Speaker. With the election of the Speaker and his deputy, other members took oath of allegiance, membership, and office. Adeoye Aribasoye, who is the 18th Speaker of the House of Assembly, appreciated the confidence reposed in him to lead, as he pledged to ensure robust legislation for the overall interest of the people of Ekiti State.
I am confident that with our collective effort, we will achieve great things for our dear state. As we move forward, we will be guided by the principle of accountability, transparency, and inclusiveness. We will ensure that our actions are always in the best interest of the people of Ekiti State.
When you perform well and you are asked to go back again to do a thing, that means you do not have further excuse not to do it better. The only thing that is left for me to do is to do it better, and I can assure my constituents that I'm going to represent them more better with more findings.
June 6th is my birthday, and this is a double celebration and double congratulations to me personally. I feel so elated and I feel proud to witness today. I thank Almighty Allah for everything in my life. People should expect very robust legislation from the 7th Assembly because we are prepared for it.
I am resolute to defend the mandate that the people have entrusted in my hand. I will do all possible things to make sure that my constituency enjoy this second time in office.
My legislative agenda is going to be based on an effective legislation that will aid the shared prosperity of Mr. Governor. And also, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to activate the leadership summit in my constituency. There will be periodic leadership gathering where are going to collect feedback from them and also feed them back whatever is happening in the Alo chamber.
By the special grace of God, I want to assure everyone that the 7th Assembly will be the best. By the grace of God, and the Ekiti State is going to witness a robust representation.
At the sitting, Tolu Lopege, representing Ekiti Southwest Constituency 2, emerged the majority leader. Oladele Ogunshakin of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, representing Ekiti East Constituency 1, emerged the minority leader, while other principal officers were also selected. From the State House of Assembly, Ayode Jogunshakin, NTA News.
The Kogi State House of Assembly has officially inaugurated its new members for the 8th Assembly. Correspondent Ajibola Christopher reports that the House followed the legislative rules in nominating Umar Aliyu Yusuf as the new Speaker and Enema Paul as the Deputy Speaker.
The inauguration ceremony held in Lokoja was attended by various dignitaries from both within and outside the state. Ahmed Shugodo, the clerk of the House who presided over the event, welcomed new elected members, emphasizing their primary responsibility to enact laws and ensure good governance for the people's welfare. He called for the nomination of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker positions. Ebiya Shehu, representing Lokoja 1 constituency, moved a motion for the nomination of Umar Aliyu Yusuf, who represent Lokoja 2, as the Speaker. In addition, Bello Bashir Victor of Okene 1 constituency nominated Enema Paul, who represents Okura Dekina, as the Deputy Speaker. The nomination was unanimously accepted by the members. Subsequently, the newly elected Speaker and Deputy Speaker dressed in their legislative gowns. Speaker Umar Aliyu Yusuf pledged to fulfill his legislative duties in accordance with the Constitution. He urged members for support to effectively carry out their responsibilities for the benefit of the people and the government.
Be rest assured that this State Assembly, under my leadership, will create the environment that all of us will bring our experience to bear.
Following this, other members took the oath of allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
House of Assembly is going to be one of the best because I intend to sponsor bills that will promote good governance in the state.
By the special grace of God, we are going to join hands together to ensure that the 8th Assembly of Kogi State is one of the best assembly.
Where the last assembly ended, expect that we'll be stepping higher.
It is about consultation with the people so that I get as much as possible dividend of democracy to my people.
I go back to our people, take information from them, bring it here and also take it back.
House comprises 25 members with 23 males and 2 females. Ajibola Christopher, NTA News.
It is now time to take a break, but when we return, an expert will be shedding light on the legal perspective of proclamation of legislative organs. Stay tuned. The Osun State 8th Assembly has been inaugurated with 38-year-old Adewale Egbedun representing Odo Otin State constituency, emerging as the Speaker of the House. In the proclamation, Governor Ademola Adeleke promised to work with the legislative arm of government to bring rapid development to the state. Femi Afariogun reports.
The inaugural sitting of the 8th Osun State House of Assembly was witnessed by Governor Ademola Adeleke. Initially presided over by the clerk of the House, Simeon Amuson, there were nominations for position of Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Unanimously, 38-year-old lawmaker representing Odotin State constituency, Honorable Adewale Egbedo, emerged Speaker, while Honorable Akeode Oyewusi, representing Ife North State constituency, became his deputy. The House under his leadership, Egbedo assured, will be to legislate on workers' welfare, good governance, and transparent legislative engagements.
I assure the good people of Osun State that this assembly will truly and faithfully represent them. We will not waver nor slack in the protection of citizens' rights, advancement of good governance, and the diligent execution of oversight functions.
Egbedo says the 8th Assembly will beam searchlight to scrutinize the last-minute bills passed by outgone Assembly in the interest of the people of the state.
I therefore direct the clerk of the House to furnish my office with all bills passed and assented to between August to November 2022.
Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke promised to synergize with the legislators, emphasizing that state matters and direction will be a product of common deliberation and agreement.
We share common views and visions on how to make us great. We are mostly products of the same movement. Our movement is focused on defeating poverty, expanding development, building prosperity, and growing Osun economy. You will find in the executive arm of cooperative partner.
All the 26 members of the 8th Osun State House of Assembly are males, with 25 belonging to the People's Democratic Party (PDP), while only a member is from the All Progressives Congress. In Osogbo, Femi Afariogun, NTA News.
With the inauguration of the 8th Osun State House of Assembly, the new lawmakers have been tasked to ensure they legislate laws that will affect the lives of the people positively, as well as being consultative, responsive, and transparent in the conduct of their legislative business. Assembly correspondent Joshua Ogunjide reports that families, friends, PDP party stalwarts, and traditional leaders attended the swearing-in of the new legislators.
As a stamp on their emergence as people's choice, the 26 legislators were inaugurated before the Hallowed Chamber in the presence of the state governor, Ademola Adeleke, government functionaries, monarchs, and other dignitaries. Member representing Odotin State constituency, Adewale Egbedo, was consensually elected Speaker of the House, while Akeode Oyewusi, member representing Ife North State constituency, emerged Deputy Speaker. Other principal officers elected are Adewumi Koforola as Majority Leader, Peter Bokwola as Minority Leader, Olawale Akerele as Chief Whip, and Emmanuel Oladimiji as Deputy Majority Leader. Meanwhile, the only House member from the All Progressives Congress (APC) expressed commitment to work with other members for the development of the state. Stakeholders speak on their expectations.
It is not that they are elected to represent Osogbo. No, they need to go to their various constituencies. So in terms of constituency responsibility, they must be alive to that responsibility, which is very, very important. Then in terms of proper laws being made, and for the laws to be participatory in the process and open, that is the high expectation. Then I expect them to support Mr. Governor. And at the same time, not to be rubber stamp. It's a principle of separation of powers. Separation of powers and check and you balance.
Like in the tradition of PDP, they are expected to come up with laws that will make the state move forward and that will better the lives of Osun people. And I'm quite sure the caliber of people elected into the House are capable of doing that. So I wish them best of luck.
We know
the financial capacity of Osun State. I'm appealing to them to make sure that they join hands with the governor, be the friend to the governor of Osun State, so that Osun State can go forward and forward.
The inauguration of the 8th Assembly was sequel to the dissolution of the Timothy Oweye-led 7th Assembly by Governor Ademola Adeleke in accordance with Section 105 subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. In Osogbo, Joshua Okuchide, NTA News.
Now is Chioma Choko, a legal practitioner and a public affairs analyst, in an interview with our correspondent Kingsley Amajiri on the legal perspective on dissolution and proclamation of national and state assemblies. Over to you, Kingsley.
Concern is about the proclamation of the state, the assembly. These have been topical in our national dailies. Why do you think there is this uproar, or so to speak, the concern about who occupies what position at the various legislative arms?
The leadership, as a matter of fact, should be of great concern to us, because being an arm of the government, it's an integral part of the nation. It's a part that nobody can look at and say, okay, let it just be. No, it is the part for which we set rolling every other arm of the government. Take for instance, the executive arm. Of course, we understand very well that the executive arm of the government, being the executing arm of the government, makes decisions that are final. But those decisions are still subject to the National Assembly, as it were.
Already, we have cases, for instance, in Nasarawa State, where we have two speakers emerging. Do you think this is healthy, especially at the state level? What do you think should be expected in that regard?
The crisis you are having there is not, for me, it's not a novel situation. It's not something that is ingenuine. As a matter of fact, these are what are expected because they are politicians. But I'm of the candid opinion that those declarations, winners of such elections, must be determined not just by the pronunciation or proclamation of the governor or the president, but by the decisions of the members of each of these houses.
Now, the president will be proclaiming the 10th National Assembly for the nation. What should Nigerians expect?
Anybody that is coming into the leadership of this nation must come with the consciousness, with the desire to at least, if not for anything, liberate this nation from where it is. There are a lot of expectations. On the education, there is expectation. On the economy, there is expectation. On the security, there is expectation, because there are challenges in these various areas. People are expecting the 10th Assembly rather, to be patriotic in their dealings.
Thank you, Kingsley. Senate passed Sexual Harassment Prohibition and Punishment Bill with 14 years imprisonment for culprits. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports that the passage of the bill followed the consideration of report by the National Assembly Conference Committee on the bill.
The Ninth Senate in its final lap of existence, approaching retirement date but seems not tired. These legislators, before leaving the Red Chamber, are determined to hit the gavel on perpetrators of sexual harassment.
The ayes have it.
That was it, the sound that seeks to entrench the Riot Act for any person found guilty of sexual harassment in Nigeria. 14 years imprisonment to be precise. The Sexual Harassment Prohibition and Punishment Bill, having been passed by both chambers of the National Assembly, had some differences which has now been addressed and the Conference Committee report adopted. The bill seeks to enhance discipline and moral standards, especially in higher institutions.
For the long title, as a bill for an act to make comprehensive provisions, prohibition and punishment of sexual harassment of students by educators and other persons in and out of tertiary educational institutions.
Conference Committee report on the Sexual Harassment Bill 2023 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The report is adopted.
The legislators approved vehement for the funding of the National Assembly Library Trust Fund for its takeoff.
And since 2022, the
trust fund, which has already been established, has not yet taken off.
2022-23 Appropriation Act, the sums of 255 million and 118 million were appropriated for the National Assembly e-library and dashboard respectively. And no provision was made for the National Assembly Library Trust Fund.
118 million naira only appropriated for the National Assembly dashboard in the Appropriation Act 2020-23 be vowed to the National Assembly Library Trust Fund as part of the initial takeoff grant. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Aye. And those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Senate adopted the Conference Committee report on the Nigerian Arabic Language Village Establishment Bill. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
This is the end of the news, but remember, you can still watch the NTA Parliament station on the channels and social media platforms scrolling on your screen. On behalf of the entire crew, I'm Abdullahi Aminu saying have a good evening.